Welcome back to Fox and Friends. We're celebrating Women's History Month by highlighting trailblazing women who have broken down barriers. This morning, we learn about one of America's most prominent conservative leaders. Fox News correspondent Laura Engel has more.
Hello there. You know, this is a great interview that we did, and Nikki Haley, as you know, has become one of the most celebrated female politicians in American history, not only for her many accomplishments in government, but for serving as a role model to many on both sides of the aisle.
This is a time of getting things done.
Nikki Haley has been a trailblazer from the beginning.
Together, we can take back our government.
Known for being fearless while serving as the U.S. ambassador to the UN.
We will start by giving the floor to the United Kingdom.
A champion for human rights, challenging violators around the world and defending U.S. allies like Israel.
For those that don't have our back, we're taking names.
Born in Bamberg, South Carolina, Nikki Randhawa Haley is the daughter of immigrant parents from India.
We were the only Indian family in that town. My father wore a turban, my mother wore a sari.
Haley recalls working to define herself from an early age.
My mom would say, your job is not to show them how you're different. Your job is to show them how you're similar. And it's amazing how that lesson on the playground played out throughout my life.
Haley and her husband Michael, a member of the U.S. National Guard, have 2 children.
I'll be a governor who'll cut spending, bring jobs, and give us a government we can be proud of.
In 2011, Haley broke barriers, becoming the first female governor of South Carolina and only the second Indian American to lead a state.
Raise your right hand, place your hand on the Bible.
Perhaps her most challenging moment as governor came in 2015 when a self-proclaimed white supremacist shot and killed 9 people in a church.
All of a sudden, it just blew up. And my job was to hold the state together, is not let them forget who we were as a state and who we are to each other.
As South Carolina grieved, Haley called for the removal of the Confederate flag outside the State House.
We will bring it down with dignity, and we will make sure that it is put in its rightful place.
I don't want a single child to drive by the State House, see that flag and feel pain.
While there was pushback, she was celebrated by many for her commitment to inclusion.
That wasn't easy as a Republican in a very conservative state, and she threaded that needle.
6 years later, she became the first female cabinet member in the Trump administration, even after a contentious and public war of words between the two.
While I won't pretend to have always been President-elect's biggest cheerleader, I did vote for him, and I was absolutely thrilled to see him win.
Nikki Haley.
Nikki Haley.
Nikki Haley.
The media couldn't get enough. In 2016, Time magazine named her one of the most influential people. And in 2017, Forbes called her one of the world's 100 most powerful women.
The next president of the United States, Nikki Haley.
As one of the most well-known female Republican politicians on the national stage, many wonder what could be next.
Where is the future of the GOP? And are you on a ticket somewhere in the future?
You know, I don't have to look at making a decision until the first part of next year. If it looks like there's a place for me, I've never lost a race. I'm not going to start now.
Haley is keeping busy with her conservative political action committee, Stand for America, while also celebrating the accomplishments of other women.
I'm a huge fan of women. Women are great at everything they do because we know how to balance.
Haley says she has several role models, her mom, Margaret Thatcher, and one specific rock and roller.
I'm a huge fan of Joan Jett. I loved her fight. I would actually play her music at bill signings in South Carolina. I would quote her in my State of the State speeches.
Her advice for women today?
By nature, women especially, by nature we second guess ourselves. But when you're faced with a challenge or an opportunity, lean into it. And if you push through the fear, you suddenly find out how strong you are on the other side.
And Haley says if you're comfortable, you're not living life enough. And ask women to get out there, she says, because we need you.
I love that. I always tell my kids, if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough.
That's right.
So it's the same thing. Well, great interview, very interesting.
Thank you.
I'm going to take her ambivalence about running for office. Like, until next year, I think that means yes.
Right. There wasn't a solid answer there, but I think she hinted.
That's usually a yes with politicians.
We'll see what happens.
All right. Thanks, Laura. Great interview.
Thank you so much.